It's not a fashion show, because if it was, I certainly wouldn't be here. I've got no comebacks because I feel like I completely agree. It's a good job I don't care. I've never been a fashionable person and I just let my hair go wild. Right. A bit like yourself, Leslie, a bit like yourself. At least it's acceptable for me to have armpit hair though. I know. Right. Why are you still not muted? I just muted everybody. You're good now. Right. Flexibility this morning. Flexibility. Hoot. So you're going to need your mat, and that is about it, to be honest. You may need a towel, but it depends how far we get into this today. Okay, but we're going to go straight into it. But mobility overhaul 78, it's full body flexibility. I'm throwing that in there so that the full body's getting some goodness, because we are focusing on isolated areas, and you know how this works, okay? I don't want everything else to start kind of going backwards because we're just focusing on key areas. Anyway, full body flexibility. We're going to start with upper body. We're going to be going all the major muscle groups, all the best stretches, and we're just getting straight into it this morning. So I want you to lie down on your front. We're going for our classic stretch for the chest, but also biceps going to get it here as well. Okay, so if your biceps into the forearms are pretty tight, this is going to work well for you. So I'm lying down, nice and chilled, out to the side with that arm. Now you can play around with this angle, okay? Everybody's different. You can play around with the angle, but just to keep it straight and simple, go for 90 degrees. Pin the hand to the ground, keep the shoulder blade pulled together, and just start rolling. Rolling into that arm, okay? Now as you roll, if there is a lot of tightness present, you're going to find that shoulder blade trying to round forward, okay? You're going to feel that shoulder joint, trying to round itself forward, and that's exactly what you're trying to stop, okay? So imagine that you're standing up nice and tall, nice and proud, chest pronounced, as you're rolling into this hand, and it's as simple as that, everybody. We're going to go for it. So with the other hand, it's pretty obvious, push it into the ground just to help give you that extra push. Okay, so we're focusing on static stretching this morning, everybody. This is chilled, okay? Uncomfortable, discomfort, absolutely, but we should not be suffering any pain today. So that's a point to note. It's not like mobility where we're rolling on that foam roller, crushing the hell out of ourselves. Nice and chilled. The idea of static stretching, we take it to the point in which we feel it's at max stretch. We hold it there for a 2-minute period, and during those 2 minutes, you're trying to take it further and further and further. So rather than just stop at the point in which it's feeling uncomfortable, make sure you're trying to enhance it sensibly and safely. So there's not a lot of chit chat for it this morning. So I want you just to focus on deep breathing. It's pretty obvious what you need to do. And you're going to get out of this what you put in. So if you just half-arsedly lie there, then you're going to get half-arsed results. So go for it. Trying to take it further, rolling into that arm. Keep thinking about the shoulder blade. Is it pulled to down and together? Or is it starting to round? Good. Last 20 seconds. So this is the point where you should be taking it to the absolute max. You can't feel you can go any further possibly. You just keep going. Sensible though, make sure no pain, no discomfort, and we're certainly not injuring ourselves when we're doing static stretching, so be sensible. Good, and I want you to slowly roll out of that one. I encourage, you don't have to get up, I encourage, just get the arm, pump it a few times, shake it out a few times, let the blood flow back in, especially to that elbow. We're restricting the blood flow. Okay, if you want to get up and properly shake out, that's up to you. Okay, but we're going to get into the next side. A lot to get through this morning, so I'm just going to let it flow. Okay, you take a water break, a sip of water, stand up, shake out when you need it. Okay, so out to the side with the other arm. Same again, before you rush in to rolling in towards the arm, just lie down and make sure that shoulder blade's pulled together. Okay, pulled together and down. Chest's up nice and proud. And as you begin your roll into the hand, make sure you keep that on, and you'll find that the stretch is much more enhanced, because that is what we're trying to get into. We're trying to stretch out and reset ourselves into the position we should be in. So be sensible, be careful, okay? And it may take you a wee bit of farting about to get the best possible stretch. And like I say, every time we do static stretching, if it doesn't feel like a good quality position, you don't feel like you're getting a good quality stretch, don't just hang out in that position for 2 minutes. Try to find a better position, a better stretch, and then enhance that. So 2 minute static hold, trying to develop our range of movement here, okay, within the muscles themselves. So that requires us pushing ourselves out our comfort zone. Focus on deep breathing. It's going to help the muscles relax. It's also going to give you something to focus on. Get the other arm, push it into the ground to try and help enhance the stretch. Shoulder blade pulled together, chest proud. So full body flexibility. I've been looking forward to this one. And I think a lot of people will be due it. Keep trying to take it further. Concentrate. Don't let your mind wander too far away from the task at hand. Last 20 seconds. Hit it hard. Take it as far as you can. Good. And start thinking about easing out of that one there. Shaking out. Good. So it's a chest stretch, but also biceps. Now it's different. Same with a lot of these. It's really dependent on where you're tightest, where you'll feel it. So for me there, didn't feel a hell of a lot of stretch in the chest, but felt a hell of a lot down the bicep into the forearm. Okay, that's me. Just to give you an idea that, yep, it's a chest stretch, but you may not feel it predominantly in the stretch. And that's what goes for a lot of these multi-joint movements that we're doing today as well. We're doing ones that are attacking multiple muscle groups at once. Okay, it might be a glute stretch, but you feel it more towards the actual hip capsule itself, things like that. Okay. Without further ado, let's get into the next one. Now this is an awkward one for some people, okay? All we're doing, same idea, this time you should, right in there, okay? Right in there is where we get a lot of tightness for people, right in there between the joint of the shoulder and the chest, where you can poke in there. If you feel pain and tenderness, okay, you probably feel it from when we've done it with a foam roller. I'm talking nonsense, let's just get into it. Arms behind, can't help myself. We're not going to talk much this morning. Yep, aye, right. So we're going to get the fingers behind your back, okay, and we're going to interlock the fingers. Your palms are facing away from each other, okay? So all I want you to do now is just go down onto one elbow, down onto the next, and set yourself up, okay, as best you can. Now imagine at this point with your fingers interlocked, like this is the whole classic sun lounger, looking in the pool, ooh, okay, kind of position. So we're lying here, think about your spine. I don't want you sitting on your hands here, okay? So I need you to push your belly button and push your chest up proud, okay? Now you might not feel anything yet, or you might, but the area I pointed in where you feel that tightness, that's what we're trying to attack. So if you're not feeling anything yet, what I want you to do is shift your bum just a wee bit further down, okay? So when I say a wee bit, I literally mean hoot, a wee inch. And when you've pushed, push up that chest again, okay? So you're trying to keep these arms relaxed, this is hard. You have to think about this one. You're trying to keep your arms relaxed, but push your chest up proud, okay? Shoulder blades pulled together. If you're really tight, you're going to feel it a lot. If you're not very tight, it's going to feel all right or a bit silly. So either way, keep going. If it's not quite feeling like a great stretch, which for me it's not yet, I'm going to push down a bit more, chest up proud, okay? Play around with the position of your arms, and you should hopefully be getting something out of that. So it's one of them. This is one where you'll feel it a hell of a lot if you're really tight in that area. So for those of you who struggle to do things like your crabs, okay, crab walking, crab toe touching, you feel a lot of tightness in this area. You're probably feeling this as a damn good stretch. For those of you who keep on top of your mobility and flexibility a bit more, It might not feel like too much, okay? So don't be lying there thinking you're doing something wrong if you're not quite feeling it. Chances are, if you're not quite feeling it, you're probably all right, okay? Probably a good thing with this one. But you can absolutely still get a decent bit of stretch out on it, so make sure you are. Also, coming from the last stretch we just done, okay, into the chest and bicep, we've already loosened off a lot of that tension. So had we done this first, it may well feel a lot tighter than it does now. So not every stretch we do has to feel like something's about to snap, okay? So make sure you've not collapsed that spine, especially the lower back. Don't be lazy with that lower back and let it just lie down on your hands. Push up, okay? And we're nearly done here. So push up, push up, push up. Good. And then relax out of this one. Shake out, okay? Maybe it didn't feel like much when you were in it. Maybe it felt like hell when you were in it. But either way, when you come out of it, hopefully you can feel we've restored a bit of movement in there. There we are. Good. Right, next up. Oh, we're letting it flow. Well, letting it flow this morning. Next up, we're going to get stuck in to our overhead mobility classic, the one that is kind of us substituting a dead hang, okay? So hanging off of something. This is a damn good variation of this. So we're going to walk out, okay? Get the hands as far out as you can. Keep the elbows as straight as you can. You know this one probably. Then all I'm doing is pushing my body and my chest towards the ground. I'll show you from the side in a second if you're not sure, okay? So I want you to imagine someone's came along, glued your hands to the floor, and now you're just shifting away from them, lengthening out those big upper back muscles. So where we're going to feel it, if you can see me, if you can't see me, it doesn't matter. You're going to feel it running down here, okay, into those big upper back muscles. Easy, okay? Now this is one where most people, unless you keep on top of your upper body mobility, are going to feel a lot of tightness, okay? So I want you to relax into it. And all I want you to imagine doing is you're trying to lengthen out your arms. So try to walk your fingertips away from you while keeping your chest in the same position. Or imagine pulling your chest away while you're walking those hands away from you also. So you'll feel the stretch. I'm pretty confident everybody will feel it where you need to feel it. And it's a simple matter of you are now trying to enhance that stretch. Try to find a fairly relaxed state within it. Yep, it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. If it's uncomfortable, this is a very important one. Okay, so that tightness that you're feeling, that stretch that you're feeling, that's going to cause all sorts of problems when you start lifting your arms over your head. It's going to cause all sorts of postural problems, hunched over. So we really want to be getting this one as best a stretch as we can. And even with good or decent mobility and flexibility in this area, you should still be able to feel a hell of a stretch. What you can do to enhance it is twist the body slightly. And when I say slightly, I mean slightly, because what I don't want you to do is twist to enhance it on one side, and then as a result, let it go easy on the other. So don't let that happen. If you are going to add those slight twists in, it's just enough to feel a bit more of a stretch, but not too far to relax one side a bit. You don't have to do that. If it feels like it's serving you some good, then crack on. Good. Right, I want you to come out of that one, and I most definitely want you to shake those arms out this time, okay? Shake those arms out, get a wee sip of water if you need one. Oof, I'm going to have one, I think. So we're getting all the upper body ones out of the way first. So next up, we're going to throw you into the tricep stretch, okay? Now when you're doing the tricep stretch, because I'm going to disappear further back in the room, when you're doing your tricep stretch, make sure you're feeling it in the triceps, okay, the back of your arms. Make sure you don't lean so far that you start bringing it into where we've just been stretching out now, okay, because that's easy done. So all we're going to be doing is I'll show you from here, and then I'm going to walk back, because we're going to use a wall. I recommend you use a wall because it's going to take the need out. This is a classic stretch, you probably know it. It's another one of them that runners do before they run, okay? They just do a few of these and a few of these, and then that's it, sorted. So watch, arm up to the back. When you put your arm down your back, make sure you're keeping that shoulder blade pulled in and down. So shoulder blades are always squeezed. You hear me say that continuously because that's how they should be in a relaxed state. Pull together, pull down, but relaxed. But for a lot of us, it takes effort because there's a lot of tightness up front, etc. So arm down the back, pull the shoulder blade together. And then all I'm doing, if you don't have a wall, grab a hold of the elbow and pull it down. And when you do that, you'll feel the stretch here. And all I'm trying to do is enhance it. You can enhance it by slightly leaning away, but you don't want to take it too far that you feel the lats. Now, if you've got a wall, I encourage you use the wall, which I'm going to do now. Okay, so I'm going to walk back and use my wall. Because my wall is going to act as my anchor point, so I can relax into this more. So my arm's up, grab a hold of the elbow, okay? Position the elbow on the wall, replace the wall, replace the hand with the wall. Keep the chest up proud, shoulder blade pulled together, and try to use the wall to lean into to enhance the stretch, okay? So remember, shoulder blade pulled together and down, otherwise you might not feel the stretch the same. Chest proud. So we're always trying to stretch and mobilize ourselves into these perfect positions that we should be in, trying to teach our body them. Focus on your breathing, okay? And again, it's a classic case of if your triceps are pretty damn tight, you're going to feel this a hell of a lot. If they're not, okay, it will just feel like a all right stretch. So all I'm trying to do is reach down my back, because remember, if you let the arm go out to the side, you're going to shorten those triceps down. So down the back, push that elbow into the wall. And it's pretty obvious what we're trying to get at here. But like I said, everybody's different. Some stretches are going to feel like hell. Other stretches aren't going to feel quite the same. And for myself, with the triceps, they feel all right. I'm feeling more of a stretch in the back that I've just done on the floor, okay, than anything else. But again, that's where I'm feeling tightest. So we're all different. Focus on your breathing, and we're going to change sides. Right, shake out, hoot, shake out, change sides. So I'm going to turn my back to you. How rude, I know, but I'm going to turn my back to you. But then maybe from here you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So arm back, lean into the wall, and just try to get that hand to travel down the back as best you can. Don't lean too much into the wall, okay? Don't lean too much to the point, like if you look at me now, you're going to be then feeling it more in the back, okay? And at those lats that we've just stretched out. So try to get your chest up proud. Try to get that hand reaching down the back. Focus on your breathing and think about the area that we're trying to achieve that stretch on, and try to enhance it and move your body into a position in which you can enhance that stretch. Focus on your breathing. Try to keep it relaxed. Try to continually enhance it. Good. Right. Let's get the forearms done, and then that's where upper body routine finished, and we're going to get smashed into the hip area and everything down below. So straight in, without further ado, into my forearms, okay? I'm going to point my fingertips directly behind me, okay? So not out to the sides, directly behind me. I'll show you from the front, and then I'll show you from the side. So that's simple, what it looks like from the front. From the side, you'll see exactly what's happening. Now, if forearms are pretty tight, if you've got a big chunky watch on, either slide it further up your wrist or take it off, because it's just going to interfere. All I want you to do before you even think about enhancing this stretch, make sure your hands are completely relaxed. You feel like they're just sinking into the ground, okay? And your whole palm from fingertip to the end of your palm is on the ground. Don't let any of that change as you enhance the stretch. Now, all I'm doing here, you're probably feeling a stretch already, potentially, is all I'm doing is just trying to lean back. Because what am I doing when I'm leaning back? I'm lengthening out the muscle. It's as simple as that, okay? So I'm leaning back, trying to lengthen out the muscle, okay, trying to find myself in some sort of comfortable position in which I can hold it. That hand stays relaxed, okay? If you start to feel your fingertips pushing into the ground, that's your brain trying to stop you from taking this on more. So you just ease off a wee bit and then come back into it. So you have to focus here, okay? When you lean back, You're not shifting the weight onto your fingertips, okay? You're pushing the whole hand into the ground. It's going to feel pretty uncomfortable for a lot of people, especially if you don't do it very often, but it's very important, okay? We forget about the forearms. You should be feeling this spanning up the front of your forearms, okay? Focus on your breathing. It's not comfortable, but the most uncomfortable part, in my opinion, is when you come back out of this one. So that concludes upper body. That's us hitting all the big main target areas for our upper body. And now we're going to shift on to hips after this one, okay? Focus on your breathing. And we're going to start off with the groin on the next one. So we're going to go for the kneeling groin stretch. So before we get into lower body, if you're using a hard floor, make sure you've got some decent matting or cushioning or whatever it is for your knees, okay? You don't want to be putting your knee on a hard floor, but also for some of them, you're going to be putting a lot of weight on your knee. So if you find that your mat's not quite the best, either double it up, as in half it up or quarter it up, or grab a cushion, okay? So it's important because we don't want to be putting our knees on a hard floor, and also, if you do, you're going to be uncomfortable and you're not going to get in the stretch very well. I want you to come out of this one very, very slowly, but equally, as in start to go forward. Take the tension out slowly, okay? And when you take the weight off that floor, it's probably going to feel worse than it did during the stretch, okay? Right. Okay, so all I want you to do is just pump the hands a wee bit, shake out, rotate the wrists, and just let that blood flow. Like I say, that's all it is. We've just restricted that blood flow. Okay, we're just letting it all back in. Good. Now, we're not going to do it, okay, but just so you don't forget, you can do the forearms by putting palms up, okay, and feeling it up there. So if you're feeling pretty tight across the top half of your forearm, okay, that's another alternative. Okay, we always do this one because that's where most people get a lot of tightness in here, okay, from gripping things, okay, from sitting typing. But don't forget, if things are feeling pretty horrible up top, because I know a lot of people sometimes get pain up on the top of your forearm, that's how we do it, okay, but we're not going to do it this morning. So we're going to get straight into the kneeling groin stretch. It makes its way into pretty much every flexibility class that we do because there's no other better way to stretch out those adductors, okay? So deep into the groin is what we're after. From the front, I'm trying to get my knees as wide as I can. The wider my knees are, the better stretch I'm going to feel on my groin before I even start this stretch, okay? But what you don't want to do is feel like you're going to snap something before you even get into the position. So you're trying to get your knees fairly wide, and this is what I mean by you need comfort, okay? It doesn't work if you're on a hard floor here. It's going to feel horrible. And then all I'm going to do is just collapse onto my elbows, okay? And I'm going to shift side on so you can see exactly what's going on with the actual stretch that we're after here. So, nice and wide as I can, okay? I encourage you that you try to keep your feet behind your knees as opposed to having them in the way, have them behind the knees. Now, when I'm dropping down onto my elbows, I encourage you to push your arms just forward a wee bit more, okay? Because I'm trying to get as much weight onto my knees, and I'm trying to let gravity pull my groin down, my hips, my pelvis down towards the ground, so that I can get that stretch on. So you don't want to feel like you're putting a lot of weight on these elbows. They're just here lightly supporting you. So I encourage you to put them out a wee bit. But remember, the focus is on the groin, not the upper body. So if you put your arms straight out and it feels uncomfortable, I would suggest that you return back onto the elbows, but that's up to you. Now, I would encourage you to look at me now unless you're a veteran of the mobility classes. If you look at my pelvis and my spine and my lower back more specifically, I'm now trying to push back to enhance this stretch. That's how I do it, I push back. Now what we don't want to do is if we start to hit that sticking point where everything's feeling tight, don't keep going to the point where you start to feel your back rounding, okay, and you start to feel the pelvis being scooped towards the floor like I look like now, okay? Push the tailbone back directly behind you until you feel a hell of a stretch in the groin, which we're feeling now. I'm going to focus on my breathing, and all I'm going to do now is just try to take it further, inch at a time, millimetre at a time, whatever, okay, as long as you're continually trying to enhance it, but make sure you're pulling those knees apart and you're not letting that pelvis start to tilt and scoop towards the ground, okay? So I'm pushing back, almost like I'm going down into a squat here. So the butt, the hips, pushed back, continually trying to do that as best you can, and that is it, everyone, that's what we're after. Try to keep everything else relaxed. Don't be having your whole body tense. Think about the shoulders. Think about the arms. Think about the back. Everything's nice and relaxed, like dead weight, okay? We don't want any tension. We don't want to be holding a horrible position. It's very easy when we're uncomfortable to be firing up all these muscle groups up top, be out of posture, out of alignment. Just try to relax, focus on your breathing. Yep, it's not comfortable, but then it's not meant to be. So keep taking it further, everyone. Keep making sure you're not letting that pelvis tilt towards the ground. Keep pushing back. We're holding this one for a decent bit of time because it's a damn good one. We've got a lot of tightness in the groin. If you struggle when we're doing circuits, when we do those squats as part of the beginning of the warm-up, when we squat down, put our elbows into the knees, if you feel a lot of tightness in that, then this is the one I encourage you to do because there's no stress on our quads, etc. So we don't get tired holding this position, apart from the pain and discomfort of it potentially. Right, I want you to start easing out of this one. Okay, hopefully you were proactive. That is a classic stretch of where you're either proactive or you just sit there holding a half-arse position. So hopefully you were trying to take it further and further and further. Next up, okay, we're taking the groin, the stretch that we've just done, okay, and we're going to build it into a very familiar movement pattern. Okay, it might not be familiar at first, but again, for those of you who do often, you're going to recognize exactly what position we're in. I'm going to take a big forward lunge, and when I say a big forward lunge, I mean a damn big forward lunge. Okay, and then I'm simply going to put my hands down on the floor. Now, when you're in the position I'm in now, okay, I'm going to show you side on, don't worry. When you're in the position I'm in now, your shin should be vertical, okay? If you've not gone far enough, okay, and you look like me now with your knees directly forward, it's no good. So you need to get that, boom, up. Hand flat on the ground, other hand, pin the foot, which will naturally put your elbow on the inside of your knee. Now, with that elbow, I'm pushing that elbow into my knee so that I'm pushing that knee out, okay? So forgetting the back leg, this position here, what does it reflect, okay? That's us at the bottom of a deep squat, okay? Oh, you're damn right. Well done, 10 points, okay? So we're at the bottom of a squat. So I want to make sure that I'm mobilizing myself correctly. So just at the same as the bottom of a squat, I'm driving my toes into the ground. The whole foot is flat on the floor. I'm not coming off the floor. Driving those toes into the ground. I'm pulling that knee apart. Okay, so encourage that with your elbow pull and then force the chest up as you push those hips down. Don't ease out, okay? I'm going side on so you can see what's happening with the rest of my body. So I'm in this perfect position, everything's set up, feeling a hell of a stretch in at my groin of the front leg, boom, deep in the groin. But also, if you're feeling tight on the hip flexor here, you're going to feel the hip flexor on the other leg getting a smash in here as well. Force the chest up, okay? I want you to try to pull those shoulder blades together, force the chest up and add all these different components into this stretch, so we're getting a hell of a lot of this one, okay? You're getting the groin, you're getting the hip flexor, we're starting to mobilize the thoracic spine here as well, and as a result, if things are feeling tight, you might be feeling a stretch in the shoulders and the chest as well. Pushing those hips continually down towards the ground is what we're trying to do while forcing the chest up. This is not a nice stretch for a lot of people. Please remember it is static, holds, don't ease in and out, don't shift about. If it's uncomfortable, focus on your breathing. Try to take your mind off the discomfort, but it doesn't work if you're holding this for 30 seconds and easing out. Remember, we're having this conversation, this argument, this conflict with our brain. We can do this, we can go this far. The brain's saying, whoa, no, if we go another inch, we're going to damage something, okay? We're going to dislocate a hip. No, we're not. No, we're not. Look, I'll show you. That's all that's happening here. It sounds ridiculous, and you're laughing maybe, but that's exactly what we're doing here. We're just trying to teach our brain and nervous system that it's capable of going that little bit further before it needs to start smashing in that stretch reflex, which is where muscles tensing up to stop us damaging ourselves, okay? So that's why, you know, if you give up the conversation, the argument after 30 seconds, you're back at square one. You're back at square one, trying to again go, well, let me try again. So we're continually taking it further and further and further. Now I want you to ease out of that one. Okay, if you need to stand up and shake out, by all means do so. If you stand up and walk around, you're going to feel a little bit lopsided potentially, which is a good thing because it means you've done it properly. Okay, so I'm going to change sides straight away. All I'm going to do here again, one hand is pinning the foot, which naturally puts my elbow in at my knee, which lets me pull my knee apart, just like I would do if I was squatting. The other hand flat on the floor. I don't care how tight you are. If you're on your knuckles and you're looking like me now going, ah, I don't care. Get the hand flat. You set yourself up for the perfect stretch. If it doesn't feel good, okay, it will over time. So if you look at me now, my spine, okay, is not straight. My spine is not straight, okay? Now, what does that tell you? I cannot push. Now, I'm doing this. Of course I can. I've got great flexibility, honestly. Right? The point I'm making here is, at the bottom of a squat, if your groin's tight and you keep descending down, okay, and you don't have that mobility and flexibility in the groin and hips, you're going to struggle to keep your back straight. So what happens? Your butt starts to tuck underneath your body, okay, and this is kind of what you're looking like with your spine as you go forward. We all see that. We see people squatting to depth and hunching over at the bottom of their squat, or if their ankles are tight, they fall over. So that's why we need to be getting that mobility in to the groin and hips so that we can get the chest up. You're pushing down. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people, but we need to go for it, okay? It's not that you're broken, okay? It's not that you're different from everybody else, that you're struggling to do it. It's just you don't have good mobility or flexibility, okay? You're born with damn good flexibility and mobility, so it's your choice to lose it, okay? Get on top of it, get it fixed, get it done, you will get better. Doesn't take long either. Like I say, you have to be focusing on quality stretches, trying to take it further, holding it, continually taking it further for that 2-minute period, and then we're going to relax out of that. Simple as that. Okay, good work everybody. Right, we're going to get into the glutes, but we're going to do the, forgotten what we're calling it now. I don't even have a name for it. The wall glute stretch. The wall glute stretch, okay? This one, you may feel in the glutes, but you may feel it more in the lower back. So let me show you if you're not familiar with it. I'm using my bench only because, again, if I use the wall, I have to move the camera and everything, which I can't be arsed doing. So you're better off with a wall, but if you've got like something the same kind of height and sturdiness of my bench, that'll do just fine. So we're going to get side on to your wall or whatever you're going to decide to use here. Okay, side on, as close as you can get to it, side on. Happy with that? Yep. And then all I'm going to do is spin round without, now obviously if I had a wall, in fact I better just pretend I've got a wall, can't get my legs, my feet have to go nice and close, okay? So I'm in this position. Yep, happy so far. Now I'm going to get my right leg and put it over my left leg so that my ankle bone is just to the side, to the left of my left leg, okay? Now the whole point and why we went really close to the wall is so that I can get a damn good stretch on here. Okay, now if you see, well you maybe can't, but when you're in this stretch, your tailbone, if you got as close to the wall as you could, your tailbone is probably nowhere near the floor. Okay, you probably feel it scooped up. That's kind of what we want here, okay? Because if you go too far away and your hips are on the ground, you're not going to be able to take the stretch any further. So the reason we went as close to the wall as we can is so that when I get in this position, I've got a bit of range to play with, okay? I can enhance this stretch. So set yourself up like I am. Just pretend you're sat on the sofa and you've crossed your leg over to put the big, huge, whatever it is, Sunday Times on your knee. Yep. Whack. Right, it's on there. So now you're feeling this you're kind of feeling where the stretch is. Some of you'll feel it in your lower back a lot. Some of you'll feel it out on the glutes, okay? Now, what I want you to do is hold this nice central position, nice and balanced, and I want you simply to push the knee away from you, okay? So the leg that we're stretching out, the leg we've got crossed over, I'm pushing that knee away. When I'm pushing the knee away, what do I feel? I feel the stretch in hands. So if you push that knee away and you don't feel the stretch in hands, you need to sort your position. You need to focus on relaxing. You're trying to simply let those hips sink towards the ground while pushing this knee away gently. You push it away gently, everybody. Focus on your breathing. I want you to think about the glutes. I want you to think about the muscles around your hips. They're all relaxed, complete dead weight. Do not tense up, do not fight this. Your pelvis should be nice and balanced, nice and neutral. It shouldn't be off at a corner kick. It should not be heftily tilted. Focus on your breathing here. So like I say, you might feel a stretch coming into your lower back. If your glutes are that tight, you'll feel the lower back getting it. It's as simple as that. Stay relaxed, stay relaxed, stay relaxed. Good. Now still holding this stretch, rather than push the knee, I want you to pull the knee. But before you go and get crazy, all I want you to do is put 2 fingers worth of pressure on the knee and push it backwards, okay? So if you look at me now, if you can see me, I'm just simply putting 2 fingers on my knee and pushing it towards the opposite shoulder while still trying to let those hips sink down. Now, when you do that, you're going to feel it sweeping right across the glutes here, okay? So I'm not putting a lot of pressure on. My knee doesn't move too much. I'm just changing the shift and emphasis of the stretch, which hopefully you're feeling. So there's not much pressure needed there at all, okay? We only need about 2 fingers worth of pressure. Boom. Fantastic. Now, if you're in a good position, as in you feel, yep, I'm pretty close to the wall, I've got a decent bit of room for my hips to still go towards the ground, then simply just change legs without letting yourself slide away from the wall. If you feel you need to set up into a better position, just relax, get side onto the wall and reset yourself. So I've just simply changed legs. So all I'm doing, again, starting off with just the basic stretch itself and trying to find some sort of balance in this position I'm in now, okay? So, making sure, obviously, that your ankle bone is not pressing into the muscle tissue of your thigh. Keep it just off to the right, okay, of your right leg. And then focus on your breathing and start thinking the process, okay? I'm going to start letting my hips sink towards the ground. I'm going to let all those muscles relax. I'm going to make it feel all heavy. Once you feel you've got that decent relaxed state and you're kind of feeling a stretch in your glutes, then that is when you start to push the knee away from you while maintaining that nice relaxed state, okay? So don't push the knee if things don't feel right yet. You need to be relaxed. And the idea is I'm pushing that knee away from me to enhance the stretch. So if you should be feeling like you're enhancing that stretch. So this is one of the ways we can stretch the glutes out. We've not done this one in a wee while. This is a good one because we can really let gravity take control of it. But also, it lets us get stuck into that lower back as well. Okay, so I'm going to start pushing my knee towards the shoulder, or pulling my knee, depending on what angle you're coming at it in, but 2 fingers worth, and just start pulling. Your knee shouldn't really move anywhere. You're still focusing on letting gravity sink you towards the ground, and all I'm doing is just applying a bit of pressure to pull this knee towards the opposite shoulder. So I'm pushing my left knee towards, or pulling my left knee towards my right shoulder, while still letting gravity pull me down. Just to change the emphasis a wee bit. While we're in this position, we might as well. So as with all classes, if there's something in particular you're struggling with a lot, just extract it, start making it part of your routine, start making it a habit. And with the likes of stretching and flexibility, flexibility is easy to get, okay? A lot of the time, it's like anything, people do it, they feel uncomfortable, it feels like hell, it feels like they can't possibly do it properly, so then they don't do it. It's not for me. But simple things like that warrior lunge one we just, warrior lunge, it's not even a warrior lunge, that groin lunge stretch, whatever you want to call it. Highly professional names. Relax out of that one. That's one that people find quite a struggle when they first start doing it, and I can testify to that. But you do it, and you do it regular, very quickly you'll start to find yourself getting into decent positions. Right, okay, you're going to need your sofa, or a bench, or a coffee table, or a wall. So if all else fails, a wall works fine. A wall will work fine. We're doing our classic couch stretch for the hip flexor, okay? So, you know, if I had a sofa, I'd be using it more than I would be using a bench. A bench isn't the first choice of things that I would be using. You need a good bit of cushioning here because we're putting a tremendous amount of weight on your knee. You need a decent bit of cushioning, so I've doubled up my mats here. Now, if you've got a wall is superior to my bench, okay? I'm just using my bench. So I'm trying to use that surface, whatever it is you've got, to get that foot up. Now, I want you to try and get this leg, this lower leg, vertical, or as vertical as you possibly can, as comfortably as you can, okay? It doesn't work if you do this. So first and foremost, get that leg up. Then I want you to bring the other leg through as if you're doing a lunge. Very similar to the lunge groin stretch we just done moments ago. Okay, so this is the start position I want you to be in. So I want that back knee to be as close to the wall as you can while getting comfortable. Okay, so I'm offset just a wee bit because this bench is horrendous when it digs into your blooming foot. Right, so all I'm doing now, I'm going to work through it as if you're a beginner. We're attacking the hip flexor, okay, right in the crease of that hip is where it's exposed, running right up, but you're probably going to feel the quads getting it as well. Now, first and foremost, I'm leaning on my knee, and this is probably a good starting position for everybody, okay? So don't get ahead of yourself here because people are going to do this wrong. Imagine you're doing a glute bridge. So when you're at the top of a glute bridge, you squeeze the butt, don't you? You push the butt through. So from this position I'm in now, I want you to start doing that. I want you to push the hips through, push the butt through. Imagine you're at the top of a kettlebell swing, okay? Imagine when you get to the top of a burpee, I'm telling you to squeeze the butt. This is what we're trying to do. I'm at the top of a glute bridge and I'm squeezing my butt and hips through. Now, start to lift yourself up as you push the hips through. Look at my lower back, okay? This is an important safety announcement, okay? People do this wrong. They go like this, okay? What have I done there? I've just tilted my pelvis, okay? My pelvis is now tilting forwards. I'm now leaning back. I've now gone all the way into complete overextension in that lower back, okay? And that is a very bad position to be in. You're going to hurt yourself, okay? You're putting a tremendous amount of stress on your lower back. This here should be neutral, okay? This should be flat and nice and neutral. We should be pushing through, and as you come up, so you can see I've got my palm on my belly and my back of my hand on my spine. It's a good indicator whether you're doing it right. I'm pushing through with my hips, and that's the focus. I'm pushing through with my hips. I'm not trying to get vertical. That just happens because I'm pushing my hips through. Now, beginners, you're going to be away forward like this, and you're going to feel a hell of a stretch, and you feel like you can't get up further. That's the people that are more prone to doing that. Okay, oh look at me now, I'm vertical. No, you're not, okay? You've left everything behind and you're just leaning backwards. So make sure you're pushing through. People with a bit better mobility and flexibility, you'll find that you can get up nice and vertical, okay? But make sure when you are, you're pushing the butt through. We're trying to feel the stretch in at the hip flexor. But if your quads are mashed up that tight, okay, if your quads are pretty damn tight, you're going to feel the quads getting it too, or maybe that's all you're feeling, okay? Push through, squeeze the butt, get in the best possible position you can to get the best possible position. Oh, whatever. Just stretch your bloody hip flexors out. Continually taking it further. This is the one where you don't have gravity on your side. You have to be gravity. You have to push through with the butt. So you can easily be going off and on, off and on, off and on without realizing it because your mind wanders. Push forward continuously, okay? Go for it, get it done. It can be highly uncomfortable for some people, okay? Now, if your hip flexors are tight, your pelvis, okay? So see when we're coming up, last 20 seconds. See when we're coming up and I'm telling you about you're not wanting to overextend your lower back, okay? You're feeling that pelvic tilt, okay? Because you're trying to go further than you can possibly go too soon. I'm not even making sense here. Get the Weetabix down you. So anyway, as I was saying, if you just lean back and give into that tightness and your hip flexors are tight, that's a classic kind of demo of what happens when you have got tight hip flexors. So if you've got tight hip flexors, this pelvis is going to be sitting at a tilt. Okay, it's going to be getting pulled forwards. Change legs. It's going to be getting pulled forward. So if you notice, I don't know, if you take progress pictures or you take pictures side on of yourself, if you're into that sort of thing, and you find yourself in a, that's where a lot of people get horrified, okay? Not by the progress pictures, but they go, God, do I really stand like that? Okay, you find yourself in a relaxed state, and you find that your pelvis is sitting like mine is now, okay? You're standing side on, and you see this curve in your lower back, and your butt's sticking out, and you're like, you know, one shoulder's higher than the other, and you're a bit offside like that as well. You're like, oh my God. But in your head, I know it's not pretty, but in your head, you think you're central. You feel central. And that's your brain, that's brain trickery. Okay, if you've got problems, injuries, okay, your brain starts compensating, you start leaning and tilting, your posture changes. It'll always feel in your head like everything's central. So I encourage you, as much as people don't like it, find a relaxed state, take a picture of yourself and take a long, hard look at yourself and see how things are looking. Because you can see it, other people can see it with a trained eye. I was like, oh my word, you run along there with your butt 20 inches behind you. Okay, and that's a classic case of the hip flexors. They get tight. You get that horrible tilt in your pelvis, okay, and as a result, you start to feel your back. We all know someone who moans constantly about their back being tight and sore, don't we? Yep. Oh, like, and they don't do anything about it. Don't do anything about it at all. Just weak and stiff, and they just keep moaning, and they don't do anything about it. They don't do the stuff that we need to do. So I'm pushing through with the butt, squeezing it as hard as I can. Good. But the point is that I'm trying to get at, you feel like, I feel like I'm calling everybody all sorts of things now, deformed, okay? In your head, you can feel things are normal. You don't see it, but then, you know, sometimes you catch a picture of yourself, oh my God. And that's where, I'll be honest, I used to have all bothers with my shoulder and neck, and every time I saw a picture of myself, I was always like this. One shoulder was always significantly higher. It's perfectly normal to be a little bit lower or higher on one side, but it was like significant to the point where I was self-conscious, okay? I was always walking around like this. But in my head, without seeing pictures, I felt like I was balanced. I felt like I was walking along normal. Whereas it turns out there was a lot of problems going on, okay? And I look ridiculous. Still do, okay? But it's all right. Push through, get the stretch on. Let's go for it. But it spans off. Lesson of the week, I think. Lesson of the week, because we were talking about it on the last mobility class. Sometimes these little injuries and pains and niggles that we get can quite often be caused by a much bigger problem. If you find something's wrong with you and it's continually coming back, okay, for example, you know, you're always getting pain up here, it's always stiff, so then you get your massage ball into it, you stretch it out, it eases it off, so you think, yep, that's helping it. But then, you know, a week later, it's back again. You smash it with the massage ball, it loosens off the tissue again, it's okay. Obviously, that isn't what the problem is. That has been caused by something somewhere else, okay? And it's crazy stuff, this. It could be something like you've got a sore big toe years ago and your brain started compensating, so now you're kind of offset a wee bit, but you in your head think you're central, and in actual fact, you're not, okay? And you're getting all sorts of imbalance going on and muscles compensating, working harder than they should. Anyway, point being, if something's wrong with you, go see a professional. Don't come here. Don't ask me. Please don't ask me. Right, okay, where are we at? I'm looking at my wee notepad because I think we've finally get through pretty much everything else. Any suggestions? I suggest you get your big towel or your resistance band. We're going to do our hamstrings. Okay, but once we've done our hamstrings, we will have time for one more, but we've done everything I want to do this morning, which is rare. Right, we're ready for this? Yes, we are. Okay, so we're going to hook. I forgot to move that camera now. We're going to hook the band. It's the classic hamstring stretch. Classic hamstring stretch. If you don't know it, then I'll talk you through it. If you do know it, don't pretend like you don't know it, get it done. I'm hooking the band or towel. If you've got a big towel, use a big towel. A band's better. If you've got a small band, okay, double it up. I say it every time, double it up or triple it up, but just make sure you're not putting too much tension on the band for what it's made for. Pull that band, okay? So if you look at my foot, the purpose of this stretch in the band is to pull that foot, the purpose of the band is to pull the foot towards me, okay? Now, sometimes automatically when your brain feels that tension, it'll push, it'll fight it. So when you're in this stretch, make sure that that foot is relaxed and being pulled by the band. Now all I'm going to do is lie back, keeping this leg completely dead weight, completely relaxed on the ground. The other leg that I'm stretching out, I keep it locked out. I lie back, and first of all, I suggest that you get yourself in a comfortable position, as in you're not sitting like I am now for 2 minutes, okay? We don't want to be like this. So get lying down, pull the shoulder blades together, find yourself nice and balanced. Then, if you need to, you can reach up, get a bit more tension on the band, pull a bit more, but return back down to the floor so that everything's relaxed. And I'm feeling that stretch as best I can from the hamstrings, and you may even feel the calves getting it as well if they're pretty damn tight. So all I want you to do with this one, it's pretty obvious. You're just trying to move that leg as a whole, completely straight, move it as a whole back the way more and more and more to enhance the stretch. Now with this one, I'll always say you could probably go further than you're going. It's just uncomfortable. Focus on your breathing, pull the leg back a wee bit more, focus on your breathing, pull the leg back a wee bit more and keep that process going, making sure that that band is pulling the toes towards you, as in the foot's relaxed. And also that your knee's locked out. Don't want to start bending the knee, okay? Otherwise we completely counteract what we're trying to achieve by going further back. So let's go for it. Let's hang out in this position. Whew. Now you don't need to hold the band. If you're using a band, especially a thick one with a lot of resistance, your hands may get tired. Okay, and we don't want that. We don't want to start getting tired and then easing out of the stretch. So if you find yourself getting a bit tired, you can hold it with one hand, as long as when you're holding it with one hand, you don't let the tension go. Okay, because we're still trying to pull. So if you do find yourself getting tired in the hands, you can use one hand if you like. Right, I want you to look at me, everybody, while you're in that position. So you can see that I'm doing my right leg. If you're doing your left leg, everything that I'm about to tell you, you do the opposite, obviously, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to grab a hold of that resistance band or towel, whatever you're using, with one arm only, okay? Now, I'm using the wrong one. So I've got my right leg, so I'm going to use my left arm. So if you've got your left leg, you're going to use your right arm. Pull that band, okay? And all I want you to do is get this leg, keeping it straight, and move it across until it touches the floor. Now, if that feels like hell, good. Simple as that. Okay, now you're holding that resistance band, you're keeping the leg straight, you're feeling a hell of a stretch into the glutes, hamstrings, you're feeling it across the IT band area. Then I want you to, with your other arm, twist it away, twist it away, twist it away, and try and get that arm down towards the ground. So this shoulder blade is now pinned on the ground. Where do you feel it? You should be feeling it running across that leg. Okay, but you'll also be feeling it if you're pretty tight. You'll feel it into the lower back, you'll feel it in the obliques, chest, shoulder, even maybe into the biceps here, okay? Pull the shoulder blades together, try to pin that right arm to the ground. If this feels excruciatingly uncomfortable, then again, this would be one that I would suggest you add to your daily routine. It is one you need to focus on. So this is a great one. This is a very, very good stretch because we're getting a hell of a lot, as you can potentially feel. We're getting a full upper body stretch, down into that leg, hips, glutes. Good. Right, I want you to ease out of this one when you're ready. If you want to hold this a bit longer, please feel free to, okay? I'm just introducing you to what you can do while you're in that one, okay? So we'll call that one a banded spinal stretch, if you like. So we're going for a hamstring stretch, and then we're bringing the leg across, and as a result, boom, we're adding that rotation in. So remember, well, you maybe don't remember because it was a while ago, those big, thick QL muscles at the bottom of the spine that people pull out a lot, the ones that usually are the ones that are the culprits for when you pull your lower back, those get jammed up pretty tight. It's a great way to mobilize them. The twist, it's bringing the obliques in, okay? Bringing that arm, you're getting the chest, the shoulder, everything else is getting a stretch out. It's a very good stretch, okay? And it's one that's individual to you. You might feel it hellish in one area, other people maybe feel it hellish in another area. I've not even had a coffee this morning and I can't stop myself talking. What is wrong? Right, okay, we're going to go for, we're going to bet you, people are just going to learn to hit that mute button, man. That guy just talks crap. So I want you to go for the other leg and we're going to get into the other hamstring now, okay? So here we go, without further ado. If you feel one side's tighter than the other, don't be alarmed, okay? Because I'm in the same boat and I'm not alarmed. Maybe we should be alarmed, but my left hamstring's always just a wee bit tighter than the other one when I do this stretch. But it just means it takes a wee bit longer to feed into the best position I can get into, okay? So things feel a wee bit tight. Good. Now remember, pull that resistance band, let the toes relax, relax your upper body into the ground. You feel like you're getting a hell of a stretch. Try to enhance it, continually enhance it, focus on your breathing. So we'll hold this for a couple minutes and then we'll break into a spinal twist. And then that will conclude this morning in our full body flexibility overhaul. So flexibility, mobility, two different things. We usually blend them. But it's been a wee while since we've done a lot of these movements and I don't want us to start regressing, okay? I don't want us to start going backwards and losing a lot of our flexibility. So we'll throw this one in and then next time we'll go back and do a wee target area and smash that one out. So focus on your breathing. Take it further, take it further, take it further. And realise that you can take it further. You can probably take it further than a lot of people will be, and I can be guilty of that too. It feels pretty uncomfortable, so you just stay there. Try to go further. If you can go further, go further. Don't let that leg unlock. Good. Right, he's ready for it. So I'm on my left leg. So if you're on your right, opposite everything I say now. I'm on my left leg. I'm going to grab a hold of my band or my towel, whatever I'm using with my right arm. I'm then going to slowly, if you want to hold it with two arms until you're down, you can. Slowly bring it across. Okay. Legs completely straight, knees locked out. It's exactly the same position as that banded hamstring stretch we've just left. And now I'm taking my arm and I'm going to twist. Keep your eyes on your fingertips all the way around and your end goal is trying to get that hand straight, arm straight, get the hand on the ground and get that shoulder blade pinned to the floor. And then trying to focus on your breathing and find a nice state of relaxation in that, as in muscles are relaxed, not comfortable, but we're relaxed, we're sinking into the ground. Good. Slowly ease out of that if you want. If you want to crack on for a bit longer, then by all means do so. But that concludes this morning's flexibility overhaul. Good. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Maybe you needed it more than others. But either way, keep on top of this stuff. The camera's squint. Keep forgetting the camera's squint. Oh, it doesn't matter. You can still see me. Right. We're done. Okay, keep on top of this stuff. If you know there's areas that you're prone to tightening up in, keep on top of them. Don't wait until we do them, okay? So keep on top of all that stuff. It's important